Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Welcome to the What's New in Asset Management webinar for the ServiceNow AI Platform Zurich release. My name is Faith Chia, and I'm a product marketing specialist on the PSM team for asset management. And I'll be joined here today by Brian Blackburn, who is a product marketing manager, and also some of our PMs, Bradford Blair and Michael Scogdomiglio, who will be demoing some different features for you all today. Before we start, just want to quickly go over our safe harbor notice for forward-looking statements. So just please be aware that this presentation may contain forward-looking statements that are just based on our beliefs and assumption based on information that we currently have right now. So please don't make any purchasing decisions based on this presentation. All right, and then before we jump in, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items for today's event. So first of all, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask any questions that you might have during today's event. So recommend using that Q&A button instead of just the general chat because it goes into a different queue and we'll be able to respond to it directly. If it just goes in the chat, it'll probably get lost. So go ahead and use that Q&A button whenever you want, and we can save time at the end to answer questions. You're also going to see a reactions button next to that Q&A at the bottom. So if you want, you can also send us a react and do that throughout the presentation. We're always happy to see your reactions and answer any questions. All right, next note is that this presentation is going to be recorded and shared following the event. It'll be posted on the community site and also YouTube. So don't worry if you miss anything, you want to review some slides, you'll be able to go look at that after the event. And last note is that after the event and the webinar ends, you're going to be prompted to fill a short survey. So we'd really appreciate it if you could take the time to fill that out instead of just hitting X, because we really appreciate your feedback. That's a good place for you to let us know what you liked or things that you'd like to see in our next What's New webinar. So if you have the time, we'd really appreciate seeing some responses there. Thank you. All right, and with that, let's kind of start going over what's on today's agenda. So we're going to be going over the latest innovations for Zurich across software asset management, cloud cost management, hardware asset management, enterprise asset management, and our new product that we've introduced, which is IT asset management for financial services. And in the last part of the webinar, we're dedicating some time for an open Q&A with our product experts. So you can look forward to that engaging time. And let's kind of just go over a brief agenda on what you're going to see in today's webinar. So we're going to get started with SAM and CCM. And as you can see here for both SAM and HAM, if you see this little sparkle icon that indicates features that are AI. So we have a lot of new AI features that we're really excited to introduce in today's webinar. But if you're not a customer that's too focused on AI, as you can see, we have plenty of things that aren't. So we have a pretty good variety of things to go over today. And also you're going to see a little check mark on a couple of different features, such as help manage software asset requests. Those check marks are going to indicate when we're going to be doing a demo session. So that's when I'm going to be passing off to the PMs and they're going to be demoing these features in a little more depth, and you're going to get to see what that product really looks like. All right. So with that said, we can get started today with software asset management. So as I said previously, we have quite a few AI features to introduce for this release. And the first one is going to be help manage software asset requests. So we understand that software asset managers frequently handle a pretty high volume of asset requests, which can really quickly lead to a backlog of routine fulfillment tasks that just don't really get done. Clearing this backlog is pretty time consuming, and it just takes away from the time that SAM managers could spend on higher value activities. So the help manage software asset requests agentic workflow introduces AI agents to assist in fulfilling software requests more efficiently. So this flow accelerates software request fulfillment from sourcing all the way to procurement. By streamlining the process and also enabling AI agents to support fulfillment, this workflow reduces request processing time. It also enhances overall productivity. And most importantly, it allows SAM managers to focus more on strategic tasks. So before I talk too much, let me pass it off to Brad and he can show you an exciting demo.
Thank you so much, Faith. And I want to thank everyone for joining. Faith, can you confirm that you're seeing my screen, which is the software asset workspace?
Um, Sorry, I think I'm on a different view, but looks like
We can see
Brian's.
it, Brad.
You
So,
see it?
Excellent. Let me take a moment to show you how you can leverage AI capabilities to expedite software asset requests. I will be taking on the persona of a software asset manager or analyst. And as you would expect, I'm often in the software asset management workspace. And so what I'm going to do is if you scroll to the right, you'll notice the activity center And then you'll see these alerts, which we're always keeping an eye out for to make sure we're being proactive. And one thing that catches my eye is this new service catalog request. Let's take a look at this. I can see right here I have a request, pretty straightforward from a known colleague. And as anticipated, this colleague is requesting some software assets. Definitely something that, from our perspective, is approved. Let's go ahead and get this person what they need to do their best work. This is where we can start leveraging AI capabilities to expedite this process. In the upper right, you'll notice I'm going to click on the AI icon, and the AI agent for software asset requests is immediately going to start working through these requested items, starting with the first one ending 05. It's going to check the available inventory of Microsoft Access licenses, and it's going to determine that there is indeed sufficient inventory to fulfill this request right away. It goes ahead and makes that allocation. These were things that I previously had to do myself by going into the task and making that allocation. The agent's just done it for me in seconds. We've got two more to go, correct? So let's go ahead and move on to the next item, which is a request for Adobe Acrobat. Again, the agent immediately starts looking into available inventory for the software asset, and we can see it executing that now. It's going to then check the inventory. It confirms that there is sufficient inventory, so the time has come to make that allocation. In this scenario, it wants me to just confirm which device we're going to allocate that license to. In this case, it's going to be a MacBook Pro. Martin has multiple devices, as many of us do. So we make that determination for the AI agent. It proceeds to make the allocation in real time. We've now completed 2 out of the 3 in about 3 minutes here. So let's go ahead and knock out the last one so we can be on our way. I'm going to go ahead and click on 07. This is for the last one, Microsoft Word 2019. Let's see what the AI agent uncovers for us this time. In this case, the AI agent has determined that we do not have sufficient inventory for Microsoft Word. This, of course, means we need to go out, either find an alternative option, or in this case, put in a PO request for this product. Before the agent does that, it just needs us as the experts in software asset management to give it a couple pieces of information. So the first thing is to specify what stockroom this asset will reside in. We're going to go ahead and say it's the option 4 in the list provided. Once we confirm that for the agent, it's then going to ask us what, in this case, will be the license metric group for it. We just want to make sure that we get that squared away for the agent so that everything is done accurately. So we see that prompt here. We're going to go ahead and confirm that it is indeed the Microsoft license group. We'll go ahead and submit that. And then just one more bit of specificity for the agent to make sure that it gets it right. We're going to go ahead and confirm that this is licensed per device. So Microsoft per device. And with those quick spot checks of confirming the AI agent is working correctly and accurately, it will proceed to plan the next steps and ultimately generate that purchase order for us. So we can see that it's been generated here. And so a little over 5 minutes, we knocked out 3 of these requested items. And I want to thank you all for giving me the time to showcase you these exciting AI innovations for software asset management. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Faith.
Oops, still muted. Thank you so much, Brad. That was an awesome demo. Let me just go back to screen sharing, but feel like it really helps a lot to directly see, how the feature is working versus me just talking over it. So that was great. We have a couple more AI features to go over that are pretty exciting. So this next one is going to be create software reclamation rule. So kind of for some context behind this feature, a lot of SAM environments often really lack clear reclamation rules, which can easily lead to inefficiencies in general or just different missed savings. Due to these limitations, SAM managers oftentimes struggle to prioritize rule creation, which can result in stale or incomplete rule coverage and under-optimized software portfolios. So this feature is also powered by Now Assist, and we're introducing some other AI agents that are going to operate to create this software reclamation agentic rule workflow, which addresses these challenges by evaluating software usage and automatically creates reclamation rules. So this really automates the process of software evaluation, and it also reduces the risk of errors and ensures that only essential software is retained and there's not any bloat there. It ensures that software products without reclamation rules are identified so that they can be reclaimed. It also provides a guided experience with automated workflows, which just improves efficiency and accuracy in software management. All right, and then to kind of talk about the other side of the coin, we're also introducing another workflow that's powered by AI agents that helps evaluate software candidates for removal. So SAM teams also face challenges in reclaiming software due to incomplete license data, and also this just requires a lot of manual effort and expertise that either does not scale or could be pretty difficult to scale. So we found that intelligent recommendations are needed to improve this process. So the evaluate software removal candidate agentic workflow addresses these challenges by leveraging AI agents to evaluate software usage and also identify potential candidates for removal. So this solution really automates the process of software evaluation, and it just kind of reduces the risk of errors, and it ensures that only essential software is retained. It provides a guided experience with automated workflows, and it improves efficiency and accuracy in software management. So that kind of wraps up our AI features for SAM, but let's transition into some other exciting features that we have for Zurich that are still SAM. All right, so the next one we want to talk about is Microsoft Hyper-V virtualization support. So without holistic support for Microsoft Hyper-V virtualization, users often experience usability challenges when deploying licensing server software. Additional costs can also incur for the user when they don't have optimized Windows Server support. But with this new Microsoft Hyper-V virtualization support, users can leverage optimization benefits for software deployed on this virtualization technology. And this offers enhanced visibility by accurately showcasing required licenses, and also helps generate supports on realized savings so users can see how they're benefiting from this feature. All right, and then talking about another feature, we have Adobe SaaS guided setup. So configuring the Adobe SaaS integration can often be confusing due to its complex nature and multi-step process. This can really eat up valuable time that SAM managers could be using to dedicate elsewhere, and it can just kind of cause unnecessary stress and confusion when you're wanting to set this process up. But with Adobe SaaS Guided Setup, SAM managers can quickly set up Adobe SaaS and Software Asset Management Professional with step-by-step prescriptive guidance and built-out phases. So with this, it's pretty clear what to do. You can follow a clear order. There isn't really any confusion or user manuals you have to use because it's all built into the process. So this simplified setup process helps SAM managers reduce time to value by decreasing onboarding time. It also helps minimize configuration errors, and most importantly, it helps advance license optimization outcomes. All right, and next we have organizational license positions. So what this does is that organizational license petitions enables organizations to track license consumptions for chargebacks and also showbacks. So this feature utilizes the current reconciliation rules and effective license petition or ELP reporting, which allows organizations to define how to group and also filter license consumption by various organizational structure fields. It also provides the ability to create and group custom fields for reconciliation results. So this helps ensure overall compliance and provides accurate and timely license consumption data. All right, and then next we have SQL Server high availability compliance. So a lot of SAM managers often struggle to accurately assess license license consumption for Microsoft SQL Server and these high availability setups due to discovery and compliance challenges. The SQL Server High Availability Compliance feature addresses these challenges by capturing the complete architecture and also key attributes of license consumption by using ServiceNow Discovery. So what it does is that it automatically determines passive failover SQL instances that don't require a license, and it also calculates license compliance for SQL Server and always-on availability groups. This helps ensure accurate tracking and also reporting of license consumption, which supports data-driven decision-making and compliance. Also, this feature helps reduce the risk of financial penalties that could occur due to compliance failure. All right, so that kind of wraps up what we have today for software asset management. So we're going to now transition into cloud cost management. All right, the first feature that we have today is enhanced support for MCA customers. So kind of some background behind this feature is that Microsoft is transitioning customers from enterprise agreements or EA to Microsoft customer agreements, MCA. And this transition has introduced new billing structures, administration hierarchies, and new cost reporting models. So before this transition, MCA customers used custom one-off configurations, and they really lacked productized support. We're bringing in enhanced support for these MCA customers to provide scalable and reliable support for Azure customers that are migrating to this MCA. So this feature enables automated ingestion and mapping of billing data tied to this MCA model, which helps reduce onboarding time and also eliminates the need for customer configuration. This also ensures accuracy and consistency in the billing data for these customers. All right, and the last feature that we have today for CCM is robust Azure billing data exports. So customers that are ingesting Azure billing data through APIs sometimes can face limitations, which can include throttling, long pull times, and complex error handling. So this approach, we've noticed, it also lacks a lot of flexibility around these billing cadence, and it makes troubleshooting harder, especially when you start to scale. Robust Azure billing data exports provides a scalable and reliable ingestion path for this Azure billing data. So what this feature does is that it enables scheduling of actual or amortized cost exports in Azure, and it allows direct retrieval from Azure Blob Storage. So it kind of cuts that middleman and makes the process a lot easier. It reduces the reliance on throttled APIs, and it provides more predictable ingestion timing, which reduces the time and effort needed for data retrieval. All right, so that kind of wraps up what we have prepared today for cloud cost management. So I'm going to pass it off to Brian to talk about HAM.
Awesome. Thank you, Faith, and hello, everyone. I'm Brian. I'm going to shift gears a little bit into the physical side of your asset estate, your hardware and your enterprise assets, and highlight some of the newest features we have in this Zurich platform release. So let's dive in. So first up, we're introducing AI-powered assistance to tackle those challenging high-volume asset requests and those manual sourcing tasks that often can slow down those fulfillment processes. So similar to what Faith presented for software, now we have also for hardware too. And we know that hardware managers specifically, you deal with a large volume of requests that can very easily, as Faith mentioned for the software side, can turn into a backlog of a lot of mundane tasks, right? So with help manage hardware requests, you can accelerate hardware request fulfillment with AI agents working together and making autonomous decisions, but with human oversight and guardrails, of course. And you'll have AI agents working with fulfillers to streamline the request process and reduce operational bottlenecks while improving the employee experience with quicker access to the assets that they need. So yeah, as with software and hardware requests, you now have AI agents that can help with both. All right, so in managing hardware repairs, one common bottleneck here is the time technicians spend researching and troubleshooting IT assets manually. And the slow manual process can result in longer downtimes or inefficient use of those repair resources. So also powered by Now Assist, we're introducing our AI agents that act similar to virtual assistants for your technicians to help repair assets throughout the process. And these AI agents provide real-time, step-by-step repair guidance tailored to that specific asset and its troubleshooting history. So by delivering researched repair plans instantly, the AI agents can help you reduce errors, speed up repairs, and get assets back into productive use faster. So at this point, I'm actually going to hand it over to Michael for our first ham demo. Michael, off to you.
Right, fantastic. So I am now taking on the persona of Liam, a hardware technician at his organization who logs into his hardware asset workspace. And Liam, he's going to be checking if any repairs are assigned to him today. Obviously, he's responsible for completing repair tasks, for troubleshooting assets that pile up in the warehouse. They're no good if they're just in a corner piling up. So it's on him to make sure that he's troubleshooting, repairing them, and getting them back in the field. So in the first step, Liam's going to head over to his inventory module to check out the list of asset repair orders that are under his name. So here, Liam can easily track the status of each repair order in his organization and prioritize, so he identifies the one allocated to him. Let's click into this repair task. Now, we are now in the troubleshooting asset task to take a look at the Apple MacBook Pro that was flagged to him. Clearly, it needs repair. And maybe Liam is not super familiar with this model. Or in the past, at this stage, Liam would need to troubleshoot the asset by going online, looking up different information, digging up information from ServiceNow and on the manufacturer's website. All these things at a time. But with the help of Now Assist, Liam is able to do this much more quickly. So we're going to go ahead and take up Now Assist on this offer to view the troubleshooting plan. We have this Now Assist panel that promptly kicks right in, and the agent begins looking for and fetching task details to provide troubleshooting steps for Liam. In this demo, it's in this side panel, but Liam can format this as however he'd like. This immediately kind of surfaced great information, warranty information, and detailed instructions about this MacBook model, which previously would have required, like I said, research online. Okay, so Liam is reading this. This is really helpful for him to get an overall, like general troubleshooting 101 on this model. So he goes ahead and says that yes, this did help him identify issues with the laptop. Upon review of this information, Liam does determine that the asset can be repaired. So he goes ahead and clicks repairable here. Now, whatever he clicked, the next best action would take him to the proper flow. But in this case, he's going to go ahead and repair this asset based on what he learned. Specifically, he's identified that this laptop is just overheating. It's pretty obvious what's going on with this laptop. It's making a lot of noise, it's causing a lot of concern amongst the employees. So he goes ahead and identifies that as the main issue. Now, what's really fantastic here is that the Now Assist goes ahead and closes the task. You can see that the state of this asset is now in closed complete and repairable. And you can see that it was closed by AI. Now, that's really helpful because oftentimes not everybody is on the same page about process and making sure that you're tracking asset details. So it's great to have this automatically done without human intervention. So now we need to go ahead to the repair step. So the agent initiates the repair workflow. It used the information that Liam said that this was overheating, and boom, it gives him a multi-step steps to take for how to go ahead and address this, starting with debris removal, cooling fan replacement, etc. Again, Liam did not need to go on the internet, and this is all available to him very quickly. That it prompts him again, did this help resolve the issue with the asset? And Liam can go ahead and say yes. At this point, Liam confirms that he has repaired the asset. And just like before, the repair task is closed out by AI. Does not need him to select that. And it's doing that right now as we speak. Fantastic. Now that information is all added to the activity panel for him for future use and to keep all the records tracked and accurate. For Liam, the last step is to evaluate the asset, make sure it's good to get back in the field. But something that might have taken much longer, he was really able to do quite quickly. Now, if Liam has a pile of assets, he's going to really appreciate the way that he was able to use AI to make this a much more quicker process. Thank you for the time, and I'll hand it back over to Brian.
Awesome. Great demo, Michael. Thank you so much. So yeah, moving right along, we'll go into our next feature, which tackles the challenge of putting assets away efficiently and accurately into a warehouse or stockroom. So without a structured process, putting away assets into a warehouse can be very time consuming and can lead to misplaced, inventory. So Asset Put Away offers task-based guidance that helps warehouse and inventory managers specifically put away assets into their exact stockroom locations. So asset records will automatically update as assets are stored, which is helping to close that gap that kind of often exists between shipping and inventory. And it's also helping ensure you maintain accurate inventory data. And by reducing this manual effort and minimizing human errors or mistakes, this can help improve inventory accuracy and mitigate the risk of lost or misplaced assets. Next slide, please. Perfect. So in a slightly different light, there are also challenges trying to ensure employees receive their assets timely and efficiently while keeping proper track and accountability of assets that are in transit. So employee asset receiving will prompt employees to receive assets in transit through the employee center notifications. And then once an asset is received, all related purchase orders, those transfer orders, shipments, and all those asset tasks will automatically be updated and ultimately helping your organization reduce the risk of lost assets that are in transit and further improving inventory and data accuracy, which overall is saving time for both asset managers and employees. Thank you, Faye. So keeping along with the asset receiving theme we've got going on here, when assets enter the organization through various different channels without a unified process, the result is usually inconsistent receiving processes that create data risks and again, more bottlenecks. So stockroom receiving helps standardize and simplify the receiving process through an intuitive user interface. And you'll be able to see pending quantities of shipments, which is helpful to quickly and accurately receive shipments and improve visibility into what's still coming. And additionally, the feature prompts users to fill in missing data, again, helping to improve accounting accuracy and overall data quality. And by reducing the time needed to receive each asset and eliminating common workflow inefficiencies, stockroom receiving really can help you drive better asset accountability during that receiving process. All right, and we're going to wrap things up on hardware asset management with asset attestation remediation, helping empower those asset managers with remediation flows for rejected attestations. So from the inventory workspace, managers can initiate, execute, track, and all these attestation requests through an integrated playbook-like experience. So when assets are rejected by users, remediation tasks will guide investigations to resolve discrepancies promptly, helping reduce security risks and ensure that you're compliant. So attestation can also be performed conveniently via the Now mobile app, which adds even more flexibility and user engagement during those investigations. All right, so keeping things rolling around here, let's explore some of the newest capabilities available in the Zurich platform release for enterprise asset management. And then just quick side note before doing so, if you're interested in learning what's new in ServiceNow operational technology management, or technology asset management, you definitely want to watch the on-demand recording of yesterday's Zurich release webinar for operational technology management. We don't have the link quite yet, but we'll be sure to communicate once we do. Or you can keep an eye out on ServiceNow's on-demand webinar page. All right, back to enterprise asset management. Our first capability helps standardize maintenance reporting and analysis with uniform failure and resolution codes across your organization. By leveraging industry-based failure coding standards, this feature helps you improve asset servicing predictability and ultimately helping you to reduce asset downtime and eliminate repeat failures. You can manage and import these standardized codes directly through the admin center, which makes setup and governance super simple. And this consistency not only can help streamline reporting and better understanding of kind of root cause analysis, but can also prepare for and enable advanced AI capabilities by providing those clean hierarchical data structures. All right, next slide. All right, so ensuring asset reliability, maximizing uptime starts with consistent, accurate condition assessments. However, manual and unstructured inspection processes often lead to errors, inefficiencies, and increased operating costs. So asset condition inspections empowers asset managers and technicians with a scalable, repeatable approach by defining detailed asset inspections at the individual asset level. With attribute-driven questionnaires linked to work order tasks, technicians will receive a guided mobile experience to easily record inspection results on site, and again, always helping improve data accuracy and efficiency. And by tracking an asset's condition score over time, organizations can make proactive decisions whether to repair or replace equipment, and ultimately extending asset useful life and reducing those unplanned downtimes. All right, so now on to our last feature we'll be presenting today for enterprise asset management. One of the biggest challenges asset managers face is obtaining accurate real-time insights into asset performance. So manual tracking processes are often cumbersome, prone to errors, resulting in unreliable data that can ultimately hurt decision making and overall asset utilization. Asset performance reporting can help you provide an automated, reliable way to monitor and report on critical KPIs like mean time between failures, mean time to repair. And by capturing these metrics systematically, you'll gain clarity on asset uptime, downtime, and maintenance impact. So enabling asset managers and those technicians to identify trends, set performance thresholds, and proactively address issues even before they escalate. And this capability is going to enable organizations to improve overall equipment effectiveness and optimize maintenance strategies in order to maximize asset useful life with scalable reporting capabilities across the organization. So thanks for exploring hardware asset management and enterprise asset management with me. Faith, I think it's now back over to you.
Yep, back to me again. Before we kind of wrap up, we have one more exciting product to go over. So as of Zurich, we have introduced a new product to the asset management family, which is called ITAM for financial services. So let's kind of just dive into what this new offering entails. So let me first set up some context behind why we created this offering. So Asset Audit Response, which is the application that we've launched under IT Asset Management for Financial Services, is a regulatory-focused solution for asset managers. So regulatory audits related to various industry standards and regulations require customers to prove that they have complete and accurate inventory over all of their assets, along with the associated risk of those assets based on lifecycle information. So responding to these audit requests are often a reactive process, not really proactive, that require multiple teams to provide evidence, which can quickly become a firefighting exercise, pulling asset managers away from their work, as these teams are usually unprepared. The request comes, no one is ready, and it's kind of just a mess overall. The situation can lead to compliance risks due to incomplete data and human errors that really stem from discrepancies in requirement and back and forth discussions regarding scope, where the finer details can get lost in translation. So we see fragmented data gathering across different systems and challenges with coordination efforts, including various teams. And the stakes really couldn't be higher because when you mishandle these processes, it can result in pretty hefty fines, increased scrutiny, and reputational damage for your company. So now let's talk about how Asset Audit Response alleviates these challenges. So with Asset Audit Response, which is the first feature released as part of this new product, customers are equipped to be audit ready with automation and guided experience that reduces evidence response time. So customers can leverage built-in content, which is accessible from the audit workspace, as you can see in the screenshot, which helps support audit requests. So this provides enhanced visibility and also a guided experience for asset managers, and it helps them perform repeatable processes. So they're not having to redo everything with each new audit request. It ensures accurate and complete data. It helps assign evidence gathering tasks to appropriate SMEs, and it helps them access historical responses to measure success and identify opportunities for improvement. So with this, it really regulates the whole process and makes it built out and solidified instead of unprepared. Oh no, something's happening. We need to respond now. With this, it's all locked down and you're ready to go when you get those requests. And I'm going to pass it back to Michael to show us a demo about this and dive deeper into what it looks like.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Faith. All right. So, Faith did an excellent job of explaining, right? When an organization is faced with an audit from regulators, often it's an all hands on deck situation. And we've spoken to dozens and dozens of customers on this matter in the financial services space. So for this demo today, we're going to start as Grace. Grace is the compliance manager, and her role is to manage the overall audit and also many audits that go on simultaneously. Grace is the main point of contact between her organization and the governing bodies. And so she really is the first step to kick off these engagements. So Grace receives an audit letter from the FFIEC requesting evidence of her organization's compliance. That includes asset information and asset lifecycle details. So Grace goes ahead and initiates an audit engagement. Now, this engagement here includes details such as the FFIEC controls that need to be validated. So she ensures that she's responding with a comprehensive response to the auditors. So setting up a new engagement is quite simple. She can use this to begin assigning tasks to the appropriate teams. So in this overview here, she can identify the necessary data needed to meet the scope. She can set start dates and end dates, define the reporting types, etc. This is really a command center for her to manage the 2025 FFIEC audit. Let's go ahead and click on evidence. Now this engagement's already been set up. Grace has started to create evidence requests with specific asks. And in this case, she has specific asks for her asset management team, or how she calls it, the asset governance group. Now, by assigning these evidence requests to this team, that calls into action that team, allows them to demonstrate the accurate asset inventory, asset lifecycle processes, and other related aspects. Okay, so I've clicked through. We're actually a new persona now. We are now Casey. Casey is the asset manager for the organization, right? Her focus is overall health and accuracy of assets within the organization, lifecycle information. But she needs an asset governance pane as well because she's a critical member of responding to audits. So here she is in her asset governance workspace, which is custom built for an asset manager to track and manage evidence requests. And let's go ahead and take a look at the FFIEC evidence request that just came through. Okay, so Casey clicks through this. It's her first time seeing this. Really nice guided experience for her. She scrolls down. She sees the control objective. Okay, so she needs to gather evidence related to this objective, and here's some specific instructions for her as well. Got it. She has a good understanding of what she needs to do here, and she's aligned to this. But if she wasn't, there is an opportunity for her to reject this, and they can have a conversation back and forth with her saying, listen, I see what the control you're trying to meet. Here's how I think we should approach it, right? We want to give asset managers a seat at the table to make sure, because they really know their asset estate the best. But scrolling back up to the top, you can see the guided experience here, scope, readiness, remediation, and this will be kind of guardrails for her as she proceeds through gathering this evidence. Let's go ahead and click on asset evidence, right? She can't do this alone. She has a team of subject matter experts who know all the different platforms really well. So she can go ahead and create new evidence requests and assign those to different team members. In this case, she created 2 and assigned them to her colleague, James Smith, who can get right on it. Also, let's take a look at evidence remediation. Now, Casey's noticed that she has some gaps in her data. She has fields like that have assigned to blank or location blank. And so this is a powerful capability for her to be able to create remediation rules that are used to review the data that will be used as evidence and identify gaps or missing data before submitting evidence is really powerful for her. And she can monitor the completion of these remediation rules as well. So here she set up a scope where assigned to is empty and location field is empty. Let's go ahead and set that. And let's say she set 4 different rules. So these are 4 different areas where she wants to track remediation of for this audit and for future audits and make sure that she can plug gaps in her data. So moving right along, right, fast forward, Casey's been identifying key information, task priorities, and scope assets and evidence requests. And so she can use this to kind of gut check her readiness. At this point, she can look at the remediation panel, and this allows her to see how those remediation tasks are being addressed, right? She created these remediation rules. She can now follow, are they being remediated? Wants to keep tabs on this to make sure that there are no gaps in her data. So at this point, Casey's been hard at work. Her team's been hard at work. They've submitted all the evidence. And so Casey can use this panel here, the review, to double check that they have what they need. She goes ahead and submits this for review. And it goes back to Grace. We're now back in Grace's portal, and she can take a look at the status of the FFIEC audit. Okay, now this is great. She sees that Casey submitted the evidence, and not only that, but she can see the attachments here as well. These are different diagrams or Excel exports, right? And this is something that's really neat because what we heard from a lot of customers is that keeping track of this evidence can be really challenging. Maybe it's saved in a SharePoint and that person's out of office and they don't have access, or it's over emails, or who knows, right? They float around. It's really exciting that this lives in this record for posterity's sake, because many audits share a number of controls. And so maybe you want to use this evidence again. It's conveniently saved here within the platform. So this looks complete. Grace is going to go ahead and accept this evidence and submit this package to the regulators. Thank you for taking the time to view this demo, and happy to answer any questions today as well.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Michael. That was great. That kind of concludes all of the main content we have prepared for today. But before we jump into the Q&A session, we have a couple of closing housekeeping things. So hang in there for a few more minutes before you can get there. But if you want to learn more about anything that we discussed today, we recommend to visit the ServiceNow community. This is a great place to see where we're going to post the recording, or you can also check out some of our Zurich release What's New blogs where we'll go into a little more information. We have one for software asset management, hardware asset management, and one for IT asset management for financial services. Or you can also check out our release notes, which are also linked in these if you want to read more about the smaller enhancements that we did not have time to discuss today. All right. And then we also have an announcement for a new event that we're debuting, and I'll pass it to Brian to talk about this.
Yeah, thanks, Faith. So actually, I saw in the chat that there was a little bit of discussion happening around Nexus already, which is great. And many of the folks here on the call, including the back end and front end today, will be at Nexus 2025 for Asset, which is our first ever 2-day event being held in person at our headquarters in Santa Clara. I like to think of this, or I have been thinking about this, as almost like a mini knowledge, but specifically geared toward asset management leaders and their teams. So you'll still engage in hands-on labs, you'll attend customer breakout sessions, you'll hear from ServiceNow and industry experts, and insightful deep dive sessions for hardware, software, cloud, and enterprise assets. So a little something for everyone there. The QR code here takes you to the registration page where you can check out all of the sessions that we'll have available for you to attend. So yeah, feel free to check it out, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. We're really excited for this event. We have a lot of exciting things prepared. So hope to see you there. And it's free. So, especially if you're in the area, definitely recommend you register. Doesn't hurt. It's free. All right. And then really quick, if you all have time, we'd really appreciate if you could write a G2 review for ServiceNow. If you scan this QR code right here, it'll take you to a portal where you can leave a review, and you also have an opportunity to earn a $25 Amazon gift card while supplies last. So you have a better chance if you're one of the first ones until, we don't have a finite amount of gift cards. So if you love our products, this is a really great chance for you to kind of give us some feedback there. Just for some context, G2 is a peer-to-peer review and software marketplace platform where users can share their experiences with business, software, and services. I like to think of it as like a Yelp or maybe a Google reviews for businesses. So we really appreciate your reviews, and we do read every single one of them in pretty great detail. So we like to see, what you really love about our products, maybe what are areas for improvement. And this is a good chance for you to, just let us know your thoughts and earn $25 along the way. All right, thank you. And then just to quickly review again what we went over today, this is everything that we discussed in the What's New Zurich release. We had a lot of exciting AI features, agentic workflows for SAM and AM. We had some demos, and overall, we went over a lot of different things, whether it was about managing your assets, putting them away, receiving them, or maybe different third-party vendors. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We really appreciate your time. We know this was a pretty heavy release, so there was a lot of stuff to sit through. Like I kind of mentioned before, if you want to check out more, you can check out our .com pages for all of the product pages. We're going to have one coming up for asset audit response too soon, so stay tuned for that. You'll be able to find that navigating from the general IT asset management page. Thank you so much for joining, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day.